Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and Skyrim is back. Oh my, oh my. So I thought when we finished our coverage of Anniversary Edition, I distinctly remember saying, whether it was on camera or off camera, that's the end of an era. I doubt we'll be talking about Skyrim much moving forward. Well, here we are, near the tail end of 2022. Skyrim is back again, and we got to talk about it because the pricing here is wild. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, you're into Bethesda news, information, conversations, all that good stuff, consider subscribing. Happy to have you here. It's always fun talking about Bethesda, but Skyrim, I love it. One of my favorite games of all time. I think we can all agree it's starting to overstay its welcome, and when you see the price tag here, I think you'll be more inclined to agree. Again, this is coming from someone who loves Skyrim. I always go back to this story, but I flunked a class because of Skyrim in junior year. I'm not necessarily proud of that, but look, I love this game, man. Even I'm sitting here going, all right, Bethesda, can it already? What happened? Let's get into it. Before all of this, we learned that Skyrim Anniversary Edition would likely be coming to Switch. It had been rated for Switch. It seemingly was going to be at the next Nintendo Direct. That Nintendo Direct, as we all know, came and went. It was not there. And so maybe folks thought, oh, it's just an anomaly, or it'll eventually be announced. It doesn't necessarily need the biggest stage possible. It is Skyrim, after all. Let's be honest with ourselves. So yes, eventually they announced it today, and it's out today. Don't get me wrong. I love Skyrim on Switch. I think it's actually one of the best places to play the vanilla version of the game. If you're into modding, of course, that's a completely different story. But if you are going to play Skyrim on any platform, I would actually recommend the Switch. The portability factor makes it a game changer. It plays surprisingly well in that manner. Give me that Breath of the Wild vibe where you just have this amazing open world game in the palm of your hands. But I digress. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. So yes, it's available for sale now. Here is the surprising but unsurprising twist depending on what camp you come from. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition is retailing for $70 in its digital version on the Nintendo Switch store right now. If you head over to, say, GameStop, for example, you'll see that a brand new version of Skyrim on Switch is almost $60. Meanwhile, buying it pre-owned still goes for $45. If you take a look over at the Xbox side of things, if you for example, don't want to download it on Game Pass for free as a part of your service, you'll learn that right now the new version is actually going for a little bit less than the pre-owned version just because of a sale ongoing, but a brand new version would typically retail for $50. I think you see where this is going, don't you? Now, keep in mind here that it's already been confirmed, just like it was on Xbox, just like it was on PlayStation, that when you want to upgrade, let's say you already own Skyrim Special Edition on Switch, you can pay $20 and you can upgrade to the next version. So if you already own Skyrim, you are fine. This isn't that big of a deal. Again, because this was already set for a lot of people. And plus, there's the confusing hurdle that we'll have to go through again where people go, what's free and what's not? There's a free, in the case of Skyrim Anniversary Edition on Xbox and PlayStation, next-gen update. It came with fishing and a couple of quests and all that good stuff. But then, if you paid $20, for those who don't know, this is where you get all of the Creation Club content. Creation Club is effectively curated mods that were put up for sale. As much as Bethesda denied it, that's the best elevator pitch you can get for it because it's exactly what it is. They hired modders to make content. They sold it on a marketplace. Not many people bought it. And eventually, Bethesda packaged it in for a new version of Skyrim with next-gen enhancements. Now, here over on Switch, you're not going to get the next-gen enhancements. You're just paying for the new content. And only Xbox fans would pay a little bit less. I believe it was $18 because it was 10% off. But let's talk about the $70 price tag here. Again, I just need to say for emphasis, love the game. But holy hell, Bethesda, this should not be more than $50 new. Because when you look at it here, over on GameStop, the fact that it's almost $60, you buy it, and then you go to upgrade, we're talking an $80 package. Like, that's where I think they need to factor it in. They should be charging probably actually a max of $40, so when you upgrade, it goes to that total of $60. We are talking about, if we're going into the original version, a 2011 video game that we are still talking about to this day, which is fascinating in its own right. If you're looking at Special Edition, We're talking about a 2016 video game. I don't need to go through every single gaming site and gaming listing to show you games that came out in 2016 that are not worth $60, and certainly one that was remastered from a 2011 open world RPG should not be retailing for 70 bucks. Now, one conversation I saw taking place when I posted this on Twitter going, what in the world is this Bethesda? Some blamed Nintendo, some blamed Bethesda. Who is responsible for the pricing format here? Now, I actually did an interview with Graham Smith over at Drinkbox Studios before Nobody Saves the World came out. It's an episode of Defining Duke Ultimate. If you're looking for a informative interview on Game Pass, working with Xbox, and more relevant to this video, the pricing structure of video games, then this is your interview. When I sat down and talked to him about Nobody Saves the World, I got into pricing video games out because before all that, I interviewed Mike Rose from No More Robots. The reason this is all important and relevant is because Mike Rose said, as someone who's publishing a lot of indie games, he typically goes a little higher, above $20 to more like $25, $30. So when they put it on a sale, it's that much more attractive. It's almost a galaxy brain marketing tactic. So I asked the same question to Graham Smith. I asked him, what about you with pricing your games? Do you try to put it a little bit higher to kind of emphasize the quality of the game, and when it goes on a sale, it's that much more attractive? And while the answer he gave was very interesting on how they decide the price of games, which involves a ton of spreadsheets, the reality is the developer chose the price of the game. Many people looked at Nintendo, and y'all know I am definitely not a person to defend Nintendo, but a lot of people looked at Nintendo and went, it's probably them. And don't get me wrong, this could be a collusion of sorts if you were to ask me personally. But Bethesda is the one who chooses the price ultimately, what they want to put it on the market for. Bethesda, though, is smart because Nintendo is responsible for upholding the Nintendo Switch tax, as we all know. It's that super expensive version of the game, even though it runs the worst, just because artificial scarcity, and it's Nintendo, so why not? It blows my mind to this day, going back to even the GameCube, how expensive games on there are. I could go off, but I'm not going to. I think Bethesda knows there is that Switch premium offering there. Premium in air quotes, of course. And because it exists, they can take advantage and charge $70. That's the other thing. I don't think I've ever seen a Nintendo Switch game go for $70. Obviously it does exist, but this is my first encounter with it, which is why the shock factor is there. I have never seen a Switch game go for more than $60. And this is coming from someone who, for a while, they don't do it anymore. And if anyone could give me feedback as to why down below, I'd appreciate it. I did a lot of my Nintendo Switch shopping over at Walmart because for a while they sold Switch games brand new for $10 less. They were selling them for 50 bucks. So I went, why wouldn't I save that money? Because over time, as I'm buying more and more games for my library, that's going to save me a lot of money. They don't do it anymore. But point being, this was even bigger of a shock factor to me because now I'm looking at a $20 price hike. But even then, $10, it's just, again, the type of game we're talking about here. Because I think this looks ridiculous if it was the next Zelda game even. It's like, okay, 70 bucks. Okay, we're starting to push it on the Switch. Okay, we're not even talking next-gen technology. It's the same hardware. It's the same hardware, the same configurations. But you're going to charge more? I don't know. I mean, it just, at least you could do the mental gymnastics to understand why publishers are going to try to justify a PS5 and Xbox Series SKU being a little bit more or paying for that upgrade. But here on Switch, man, it's just a really bad look. And we're talking about the now owned by Microsoft Bethesda. You want to get these moves out of the way. Is it world ending? No, but it's just it's a bad look. It's a bad look. It brings me back to the 76 era of Bethesda where they just wanted to nickel and dime you for no reason. I remember when the canvas bag shortage was going on and they said that you would get a couple of, I think it was $5 worth of atoms as an apology gift. Like it was just so little. You could do nothing with it. It reminds me of that Bethesda, stingy Bethesda, the worst form. I know they keep selling it because people want it and because people love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, Skyrim is fantastic. And if you put it off for this long, now is your chance to go play it. But most of us have played it. And it's not one of those Last of Us Part 1 remake situations where I saw a lot of reviewers doing, again, mental gymnastics, saying, well, if it's your first time playing the game ever, this is a fair price. But no, it's not. The game's been around since 2013. We got to give equal energy to these things. This sucks for Skyrim. That sucked for The Last of Us Part 1. We need to do better as an industry. We cannot be charging $70 brand new digitally for Skyrim. And that's the other thing, man. What's with these digital games being so high in value when that is literally the marketplace you can scale up and down whenever you want? Of course, you need permission from the provider, which would be Nintendo, but there is a scaling that's done there where I would imagine digital should be cheaper because you're not buying the physical case, the cartridge, all that stuff. You're just buying the game, but it's more? It's more? I don't know, man, but it's a bad look. Very disappointing to see. That's all I've got to say about Skyrim Anniversary Edition coming to Switch. Is it cool to see? Yeah. Did we expect it? Pretty much. Is this finally the end of the era? Are we going to see any more SKUs of Skyrim? I guess never say never. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I leave it in your hands. Let me know what you're thinking about Skyrim in the comments down below and what's going on here with the Switch. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the hell out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.